We are the Phronesis Project. I'm Rick.
This is Lauren.
And we're here to talk about Thor, Love, and Thunder. So let's talk about Taika Waititi.
I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to be a painter or whether I wanted to be an actor or something completely different. And then I discovered that if you made movies, then you're kind of doing all of those things. So it was all the things I was interested in, all in one nice package. I wrote the first draft of this in 2005, and I hadn't made any other features before then, and I found it really difficult adapting the book because I thought I'd never adapted anything, and I thought that you had to be super true to the material, basically lift everything from the book and put it into a movie. And actually, I put that to the side to concentrate on some other stuff, and when I made 3 other features, and then coming back to the material, realised, oh, you don't have to do that at all, you can just do whatever you want. You put it through your filter, you know. What I find funny are things where Hulk and Thor would be sitting on a bed after having an argument and talking about feelings. When you see how ridiculous over the top these characters are, and then have them talking about stuff that we all talk about, you know, it's more the what we call the comedy of the mundane. Yeah, I found my voice was a mixture of those two, trying to find a balance between that comedy and that drama.
It's just so loud and in your face and flamboyant.
It's obvious that this guy has talent. So when you roll into like Hunt for the
Wilder People,
yeah, like that movie. He has 25 days to shoot. It's natural lighting.
Such a good movie.
Tackling a movie like that in the elements, as opposed to like going somewhere more controlled, like a blue screen room where everybody can maintain a lot of things, their costume, their hair.
Yeah. His
style, it's very symmetrical. It's centered, so if it's a character in front of a table or in front of a desk, let's say, whatever it is, or even in front of a wall, like the idea there that he'd want to do it like Wes Anderson. He wants to have like the bright colors. He wants to have the big wide shots that have everything almost like you slice the frame in half and everything's gonna have a balance. It's a beautiful symmetry that he's chasing, and simple static shots and just static mean it's just there, and then zoom in, so it's got like a slow zoom, and he'll mess around and do other shots, but at the same time, like, his shot list seems to be very like almost like the fundamentals. It's not there isn't anything like too wild. He isn't doing like crane shots. He isn't doing like one takes, or tracking shots. Like, he doesn't reach in his bag and pull like new tricks or new moves. And I think it's interesting how he keeps it simple and still finds success.
I think he knows what he likes and knows that what he's done in the past has worked well for several times.
I have a theory that at periods where the economy is suffering and people don't have a lot of money to spend, they don't want to go and see films about how tough life is for people. I think the reason that a lot of those, especially those dramatic films, aren't doing very well is because people want an escape, which is why the superhero films are doing really well.
Like sad movies, yeah.
Right, you want to see fun movies, and he would use the Marvel superhero movies as one of the best examples of that. When shit is like, let's say, when the recession hits and it's shaky or like whatever the fuck.
I think that's just who he is as a person. Like, even how he presents himself is like flamboyant and like loud and like happy and like, look at me, I'm crazy. Like, you're never gonna be sad around me. Like, look at me, I'm crazy, Taika Waititi. Let's have a good time. You know what I mean? It's never like, I'm a sad boy or like serious.
Right,
So I think that is represented in his films, right?
Yeah, like his personality shines through,
definitely,
and like he mixes in his personality with the tones of movies.
Yes, definitely.
His idea for writing movies is like,
and basically how I write is I'll start with the beginning and the end. I just want to really like visually, or like just something that I think is like, this would be a cool way to end a movie, and this would be a cool last image for an audience to see. This would be a cool first image, and this would be a cool way to open a film. And then I'll put in some scenes throughout. I think this would be a great scene. And then eventually, when I've got enough of these scenes or sequences, then lazily just glue them all together with some sort of connecting scenes. But that's it, really.
It's interesting. A lot of people have different ways to to grow and nurture a script or a movie like that, and
that he writes a draft and then forgets about it for a year or a couple of years and then comes back and writes it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, he puts it away and then he tries to give it a revision. And I think it's interesting in his approach to shooting films. you know, when you write something in the script, you write a joke, you go to shoot. He doesn't want the joke and the scene to be limited to whatever was in the script. He'd rather go and shoot it and play on that day.
Yeah, which I really respect, because I feel like you're not putting constraints on yourself, and you're leaving room for, you know, the actor to do their real work in improv. And I think that's really cool as a director, to leave that leeway to, like, you know, we're gonna work together on this, and it's gonna we're just gonna free ball it,
play with imagination, and you know, run around in the space of creativity.
but I feel like that makes it more genuine and easy, and it makes it real at the same time, you know, whereas it not like
it could, yeah,
constraint to this fake script.
Yeah, the only problem is that if you're doing improv, if you don't get it right, you can start losing days. And like we see shows where like they need to make their days, like shooting days, and if they don't, you know, that means OT, and that's money that people don't have. And not everybody has a Marvel budget to go, all right, we'll give you 10 more shooting days. Like,
that's crazy.
Jojo Rabbit, let's say it's 40 days. Again, it's another movie about the loss of parents for a kid, and it's another movie through the eyes of a fucking kid. So like some of his other work, and I think he's made the point and concern if he's repeating himself, and some of these do feel like that. The same character, tragedy or the struggle that's befallen on them, or
the struggles of a small boy.
He was inspired by a book, took it, processed and digested, and then turned it into something else, and something that worked and was successful. And so when we swerve into the Marvel shit, and I think for Ragnarok, he said he read one issue and he didn't like the way they talked. He came up with a pitch and all this, and it was like the immigrant song or whatever the fuck it is from Led Zeppelin. It sounded like he had like this passion for a character, but like I don't understand it. How did he not know or read about him in the comics and not put the same like passion and drive as he did with those other projects? You know, and it turned out like this, where Ragnarok was a success because people want funny.
We're the same, you and I. Just a couple of hot-headed fools.
Yeah, same. Hulk like fire, Thor like water.
Well, kind of both like fire.
But Hulk like raging fire, Thor like smoldering fire.
When he goes to Ragnarok, he has a higher budget. The days for shooting is 85, so that's double. You know, that's more than JoJo and Wilder people combined.
That's almost 3 months.
Yeah.
That's 5 days shy of 3 months.
Yeah, so I think he's taking it to another fucking level, and I think the approach is definitely interesting, given the fact that he didn't put in the same kind of amount and effort like he did with those movies. So when you get to this one, and he takes the character, and he brings the funny, like, audiences want to laugh. Like, that's why Guardians and some of the Whedon shit like works
does so well,
because like the MCU wants to make you laugh. So when they find these people that can do it, and
like,
they do it
hell
right, people
come back.
People will really love that. So when you get to this one, and it's such a mess in terms of like, you know, what are you trying to do? Because you're trying, like, on one hand you're trying to tell us that, you know, you want to make people laugh and you want to make people feel good. But then we find out, like, the movie's about cancer. And then you have, like, cut material that's like, oh, Gore was going to sacrifice kids. I'm like, bro, what?
That would have been dope as fuck.
But it doesn't seem like that's agreeing with what he said in the past.
Yeah, in line with his
views. They sound conflicting,
right.
And it's like, man, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he also took this movie and turned it where he wasn't trying to sell Feige on why he should do a Thor movie. Now he's like, right, now I got total control. Now I can do what I want. And then he decided that making a movie that was challenging to the audience and challenging to the fans, that like, oh, you don't want a Thor movie? Like, it's gonna have them in love? Like, oh man, like, I'm gonna take on that challenge and show you that you fucking love it. I'll make you learn. But
I feel like he's just really try-hardy, and he's just like, well, I'm gonna take this challenge on, and you're gonna like it because you like my other shit.
I think he was a little all over the place. He should have.
I think the colors were too much.
He didn't even adapt like the real Thor story where there was 3 of them, and it's like, oh, there wouldn't be a No Way Home situation, but wouldn't it be interesting to have Thor split into 3, almost like Nutty Professor style? Like
all the Hemsworth brothers.
Or even have the Hemsworth brothers. Like, that would have been like fun and silly. Like, that could have been a fun thing to write.
That would have been cool too.
Especially old Thor, young Thor, and middle-aged Thor.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That'd have been cool.
Dude, like, that's money in the fucking bank. And then Gore too. Like, you had this villain, hands down better than Hela.
Oh my god, yes.
And it's not even like, I'm not
Christian
here to
Bale.
I don't want to shit.
Amazing.
I don't want to shit on his entire movie, because Gore, what he had there was really fucking good and interesting. It's mishandled along the way, but even with what we were given, there were still some strong scenes.
I feel like it's because Christian Bale is a strong actor and he can do a lot with very little, and they didn't give him a lot to work with because I think he could have done so much more and so much better. Just like you said, the scene with him stealing the children's souls, like he's a god butcher, for God's sakes. Like, why isn't he butchering some fucking gods? But you know, to each their own. Taika Waititi doesn't want sad stuff, so we're not gonna butcher gods.
The inclusion of Jane, like, again, you gotta have female heroes. I get it, 100%. Everyone's got the time split up. And I think if the movie is handicapped to a 2-hour time limit, you can't be introducing new characters like this, dude. Like, the only character you could have introduced is maybe like someone like Hercules or someone like Beta Ray Bill, and just keep it to a minimum 15-20 minutes, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it was, like I said, just too much going on, and that they should have taken like that out and put it in, like, you know, a Disney Plus show or something else, because it was just too much. Like you said, with the time constraint of 2 hours, I feel like some of the things were rushed and some of the things were too long.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about the Guardians, how we don't feel like he did a great job.
He did not utilize the Guardians well. Like, why aren't some of these Guardians talking? Why isn't Groot talking? Why isn't Rock talking? You know what I mean? Like, why aren't they interacting better from, like, the banter that they had in Endgame?
And
you
it's
know what I mean?
two silly fucking two of the silliest fucking male superheroes in the MCU. Two of the silliest.
Whack. It's just like a whack, like that whole intro scene.
Right. I mean, even Chris Pratt, like, again, like, he doesn't bring that same
energy,
same Star-Lord energy from before.
But because it's the writing,
right?
You know, you can only do so much with the writing you're given.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it just sucks that he's fumbled it this hard compared to what he did with Ragnarok, and he had this false sense of confidence.
He dropped the fucking ball.
Like Omnipotent City and like the inclusion of Zeus and like the inclusion of Omnipotent City. Imagine Thor like leaves after the fucking shit and he's like, let's go to Omnipotent City and get the help. And then by the time they get there, you know, we cut to Gore, you know, arriving. We get like a little misdirection, like if they're arriving, but it's Gore and he starts to slay some of the gods.
That shit would have
been some of them have to scatter and fucking and take off, and it's just
that would have been cool. Like if we would have saw a massacre, like look, give me that shit, and then Thor shows up.
And what if Thor shows up and Zeus is like there hanging on by a thread?
That
like,
would have been so.
Gore was
cool.
fucking here, you know.
Yeah.
God damn this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like,
why did we just write a better movie in like 1 minute? I don't know.
It's just like again, it's just the power of laughter that Taika had. He's a genuine talent. It just sucks that
he has a strong presence, yes, and he's good at what he's done. But I think his cockiness got the best of him and was like, I can do this. You guys are gonna love this. Look at this.
And he's not that guy. You're not that like. He's better in his element when he's off blue screen. Go do shit where you have to shoot on location, dude, because that's the shit you knock out of the park. You know, go do movies that you actually have the inspiration and motivation for. That's the shit you're gonna knock out of the park. Not shit like this where you're dragging your feet.
He's here for the paycheck.
And I hear and I see some of these interviews, and he's just like.
So it's time to play a spin the Mjolnir.
It also could have been Who Wants to Be a Mjolnir.
That's a great idea. All right, because you're my guest.
Give it a shot. Second of all, I hated it. Congratulations on making a shit movie, asshole.
A dick.
Yeah, he sounds like a dick. He sounds like a sourpuss. He just sounds
like. Oh my god, yeah. Some of the interviews, he
a little
comes
bitter
off
about
really terrible.
What's happened?
Like you're not likable. You're kind of annoying.
He's become unlikable. He's becoming. That wasn't the case.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, like you're the one who wanted this and all this fame, and you got the money. So it's like, be like happy or grateful. Like you're on all these shows. Like, are you tired? Well, you could be broke, honey.
Yeah, you could be broke and living in New Zealand and no one gives a fuck about you.
Or who the fuck you are.
You wouldn't be hanging out with Thor and having your little threesomes, my boy. You know? Yeah. And that's what, like, this dude, like it's suspect. Even the jacket in, like, the Wilder people, I'm like, why is it that fucking eye? Like,
this fool, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, what do we...
He's just sucking up. He just wants to be famous. That's why he puts himself in fucking Korg, and like we didn't need Korg in this movie like that.
We didn't.
So that fool is just like he's very attention seeking and hungry, and it's like, all right, dude, like whatever, they're gonna let you do your thing, but be good and do your thing.
I think what sucks is that his legacy now has turned into like the back and forth with Thor as the character, the inclusion of Valkyrie and Korg. and Mighty Thor into the MCU. Like,
so
you know?
many
And it's
people.
like, holy shit, dude. That's 3 people. Like, those are some hard fucking sells, you know, to me. You know, I ultimately felt like, okay, like, they needed to be less core. You know, Valkyrie was a little bit better in this one than the last one, but a little bit better doesn't mean like she's a great actor or a great
no, she's just more likable in this one than the last.
Yeah, and I just like, fuck, dude, like, I don't, like, this Valkyrie sucks. Like, we switched out the old people for these people. You got Mighty Thor, and like, we already talked about her. She does some great stuff in performances, but like the arc and the inclusion's a little unnecessary. Fuck it. If Taika wanted to do this and he wrangled this talent, this is the movie that he helped create with Feige's backing, $250 million. One of the most expensive Marvel movies of all time. That shows you like
how much trust and faith they put into him.
Well, they don't have anybody else. They don't have a Whedon to be like, hey, bro, you're gonna come back. Hey, Gunn, I need you to come back. Gunn's a little like back. Gunn's a weirdo. Fuck that guy. But you get what I'm saying. Yeah, they all fucking are. But you know, it's not like he's asking Favreau like, "Hey, bro, come back, bro," or Shane Black, "Hey, bro, come back."
Jon Favreau.
He hasn't even asked the Russos to come back and do anything.
God bless the Russos. They're amazing.
So Taika was just one of those talents where like, all right, he's left, and like, let's see what he can do, and helped create and produce this movie with others, right, in collaboration. And you know, people look at this as the worst Thor of the franchise. The worst.
I don't know. I had a lot of feelings about this movie when we first watched it. Then we watched it again. Then we watched it again. And I don't know if it was just watching it so much that I was like, it's not that bad. But I don't think it's the worst. Could it have been better? Yes. Is it the worst? I don't think so.
I think I would have watched this over Thor 2.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
I think I'd like Thor 1 over Thor 4 because Thor 2 is like, it feels like you're coming down on a high. Like you have Loki and he becomes this badass in Avengers, and then when he comes to Dark World, like he doesn't have any of that dialogue or that energy. He's not
written as well,
So it's like, all right,
it's all about the writing too.
You know what I mean? That's why it sucks. It's like Whedon, who's got a shitty past himself. It's like, fuck, you know, they elevated these characters, and that's who you need. People who elevate, who love, understand, and elevate the characters.
Yeah, and then the thing is, I feel like it's also Feige, because it's like you're putting a pass at these. You're like, oh yeah, this sounds great. Like, are you just that overwhelmed? Yeah, are you just that overwhelmed that you're not really, you know, kind of like looking at these in depth? You're just kind of like, you got it, bro. We'll see you at the premiere, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, because he has to spread himself, and he has to, you know, who knows what he has to involve himself with, because it's a lot of shit.
Yeah, I know it's a lot. That's why I'm just like, all right, but now you can tell, you know what I mean? It's not as great as it once was.
He's dealing with unworthiness in the first movie, like, oh shit, like that's crazy, dude. Like that's like Spider-Man 2 right off the jump. Yeah, you know? So
that's like the main theme of Thor.
Even not that Thor is like as good as that, but you get what I'm saying. So Phase 4 and what it has to offer was nice to have a little run of familiar faces where you get Spider-Man, you got Doctor Strange, you got Thor, and I, like you, we're talking about this movie, like, was conflicted, like how much, you know, how do I really feel about it? And I think ultimately I did like this movie because of the familiarity of the faces, but what I was given, it felt like the same way where your expectations weren't met.
No,
with what was going to be delivered. And this is one of the movies.
No expectations were met.
I stayed away, like, in terms of, I didn't care. Like, I didn't care about, like, who's going to cameo, whatever the fuck. I was just like, fuck it, whatever. Yeah. So, like, watching this, I felt lukewarm about watching this, and then watching it, I was like, I was surprised because they did the Mighty Thor. Like, they did a decent job at that. It's not my favorite, but they did a decent job. There's some funny moments with Thor where, like, with the cape, it will grow back, or where he's like, hey.
Those were like, what?
You know, those were shameful times, and like, there's moments that I really enjoyed that, you know, that I found were funny, but there's also a lot of moments that are so fucking, like, they make you grind your teeth.
Yeah,
like,
there's a total
like
miss.
the fucking goats or Omnipotent City.
Why?
Or the fucking speeches. The idea of bad speeches. Being a cringy little fucking...
It was. I feel like this movie was more cringy than good.
That's what's terrible about this thing. It's just, it's such a hard fucking thing to... I guess process, because, like, you know, there are moments to like, and Gore, I really like the idea of Gore, and I like how he played with that character. It sucks that that's the ending they gave him. Like, you know, it becomes less of a threat, and like, they complete his arc just like they do with Mighty Thor, but they do that with Thor as well, where he's a piece of shit vain god going to, like, someone who's gonna help the people, and as cheesy and cringe as that is to, like, give power to the people and the kids, like, I mean, that's That's what Gore was looking for, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what Gore... Not to be like, hey, give us fucking lightning bolts from our hands. But he was looking for some kind of fucking relationship from the God where you can get blessing and you can, you know... You
for
can
showing
have,
your devotion
your
to
faith
them.
and devotion, right? And there's a communication. So I think seeing that and happening, like he's doing like the Gore and in the shadow realm and like the idea and how he moves, like it's and how he fights. It's very like it's all right there for you to fucking hit it out of the park. It's like it's on a T-ball. It's on a T-ball, and he just had to put the ball there and swing. And instead of making contact with the ball, he fucking slammed his shit on the rubber neck, and the ball fucking traveled 3 feet in front of him, and he's trying to make it a first base, and he trips and he falls. Everybody's laughing at him, dusts himself off. He's still out. Like, god damn, you know, it's such a clumsy way to tell a Thor story by interjecting love and this other side character, Mighty Thor. Like, bro, like, I don't give a fuck about that shit. Give me, like, the OG Avenger. Where do you take this guy who's gone through what he's gone through? And that's why I would have loved to see him, like, for Thor to have a scene where he's talking to, like, Hulk and he's trying to figure out, like, let's make sure we have an Avengers here on Earth. Just because Tony and Natasha and Cap are gone, I want to make sure that we can...
that the Avengers are gone. We're Earth's mightiest heroes. We need to find some more heroes.
Right. I would have loved some shit like that, but...
Oh, well. It is what it is with that shit.
Yeah, Taika, like, it just sucks, you know? It just sucks seeing him go down this route. Like, he was a likable guy. Even the little spots that he would give himself in the movies, like, they were funny. And, like, now I've just grown to fucking hate that. I can't stand that fucker on screen anymore.
Like the free guy.
Antoine is, I think, a villain for the ages. The fact that Taika's able to kind of walk that razor's edge and make it both loathsome and hilarious is a testament to that guy's talent.
What? There's no glass there, and you are...
What?
Nothing.
Right, when he plays the villain in Free Guy, it's terrible.
When he got that...
He's not even good.
Yeah. And I'm like, holy shit, they gave Korg, like, double, triple the screen time from Ragnarok, and
he's not good. Yeah, it's just really not good.
Shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, when I came in, a lot of the fans were like, who the fuck is this guy? He's going to ruin everything. And that kind of, like, really made me, like, quite happy to hear that. I was like, yeah, who am I? I am going to ruin everything. And then I was like, oh, then maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe I should try and, like, really, you know, like, ruin everyone's expectations of what these Thor films are. Who wrote this shit?
It's been an absolute disaster, but that's just the way it is on my films.
But, alright, so to talk about, like, the news, leaks, and rumors, it's a smaller section on this one, but there's a scene where Zeus shows up visiting Jane at the hospital, and it's like, well, what the fuck was the whole Omnipotent City act about? If he's just there, like, eating ice cream, like, eavesdropping, like, it was absurd. And he's like, I got something for you, Thor. And then, like, now he wants to help.
Yeah, he's a fucking dick. I don't know. So, and then the concept art revealed that Gore originally sacrificed the soul of all the Asgardian children in the early version of the sequel. Like, how fucking dope would that be? Like, we're seeing a villain be a fucking villain. Like, you're sacrificing children. That would have been some dope ass shit. Like, damn, that's so fucking, like, I would have loved this way more than what we got.
Yeah, I mean, that's
kids in fucking cages.
Yeah, it's definitely dark. It's a dark fucking thing to do. And again, it doesn't agree with what he wants to do with film, and he wants to, like, have a good time. Mm-hmm. It's just like, why would you show kids, like, what the fuck? What's the matter with you?
I feel like it would have been cool.
No, I agree with you. It's dark, and it's something I would have wanted, but it also doesn't agree with
who he is as a director and what he likes to do. Yeah, I know, but fuck it. We didn't get it either way.
Fuck it.
And then with the Jane Foster and Thor flashback was conceived and shot during additional photography. So that wasn't even in the original fucking movie, you know? I think that I like that actually, that we get to see them.
A little montage?
Yeah,
like,
I like
what
them.
Happened?
Yeah, I like seeing them to be together, and it wasn't long, and that's what I appreciate about it. It's quick. You know, so I liked it. I thought it was a nice little addition and cute, you know, especially since they're bringing her back after so long.
Yeah, that's the little, like, romantic comedy element to it.
Yeah, and like, I like that.
And it's done, like, very quick, and everything else is like dressed up in like this action comedy superhero shit, but it's still...
I like it because it was to the point, you know?
Yeah. Rotten Tomatoes has now rated this movie as the lowest Thor movie.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, we'll put the number up on screen. We don't know if this number's changed. It was 65% on the 1st of August, but I mean, like, again...
Oh, shit. I mean, to be honest with you, the first time I saw it, I would probably rate it the same thing, because it took me a couple times to watch it to kind of really like it, you know? Because the first time I was like, I fucking hate this movie. So the tattoos on his back are Tony Stark and his mother, father, Heimdall, Loki, obviously Tony and Natasha. So he's got like a whole memorial on his back.
Right. I think that's interesting. Give you a little piece of Thor, like who he is as a character and who, like...
I think it's cute.
I still remember.
I don't know why he has Loki's horns on his back, but whatever.
Yeah.
This shit's stupid. Chris Hemsworth has revealed that the scenes involving Thor in a dance-off to ABBA song was cut from the movie. Him shooting lightning out of his fingertips. I think that would have been cool. I think... especially since we're getting the Guardians, is it like a dance off?
Yeah,
with him,
exactly.
Chris,
Like,
you
that's
know?
the only thing. I'm like,
I feel like him and Star Lord. I feel like it would have been cute. I feel like that would have been like, okay, this is more as Guardians of the Galaxy. Give me that cute shit. You know what I mean? They love music. Give fucking Thor the music scene and let them do it together. Especially like you have all the Guardians, and he had such good rapport with some of the Guardians.
You had Groot.
Yeah, you had fucking baby Groot who loves to dance. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? You really don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
You had baby Groot.
Yeah. I'm just sad that there was no
teenage Groot, whatever.
That there was no like attempt for camaraderie.
No, it was terrible.
Obviously, we talked about it before, but Baldur the Brave was Thor's half brother. It was meant to be introduced in Multiverse of Madness. Nothing to do with this movie, but you never know if they did something.
That would have been dope.
Multiverse on this one, they could have brought something to the table like that.
So fucking Odin's son was out there fucking bitches in the 9 realms, is what you're telling me?
That's
with
what
this
I'm saying. I don't know.
Fucking Odin's son, fucking hoe ass Odin's son.
Imagine he introduces Hela and then he introduces Baldur the Brave.
This fool, like, but Hela was his full sister, so that from my understanding. But yeah, he's a hoe. That's what we got from that. So Moon Knight's Khonshu gets involved with Gore god butchering. In this movie, that would have been fucking cool.
And it's like a question, right? Like, is he gonna get involved?
Yeah, that would have... I doubt he would have. He probably would have just been watching and be like, fuck it, y'all deserve this, you fucking gods. Because that's how Khonshu was in Moon Knight. Like, you know, all these fucking gods don't want to do shit anyways, you know?
Yeah, and that's true. The way he kind of wanted to be more active.
Yeah, he wanted to be active, so maybe it was like, if he saw the gods getting fucked up, he wouldn't participate. But, like, maybe helping Thor and them, that would have been fucking cool. And you get, like, some fucking Moon Knight hitting some bitches in the back. And that's it. That's all we need. You know what I mean? They fucking shit up together and they fuck off. That would have been dope as fuck. But
I think that's what sucks about Marvel not learning to go like, hey, let's do a little cross promotion with our Disney Plus product and our movie. Like, not even to force it. Like, every time there's a Disney Plus movie.
Like, you don't even have to introduce the fucking character. He just comes in, fucks shit up, and they're like, who was that? Thanks, dude. And they fucking fuck off. You don't even have to fucking say anything about him. We know who he is.
Yeah, it can be selective, and I think this moment, it would have worked with Moon Knight and Khonshu.
Yeah, because it's a fucking god thing, yeah. Eitri the elf, he was rumored to be in there, but we didn't get any of that, so, you know, we did not see Eitri in this movie.
Yeah, no Eitri, no need for, I guess, like, Mjolnir being reformed by him or any of that craziness. He just doesn't factor into the plot.
There's no need for him.
Right. I think Grandmaster was also...
yeah, that would have been cool, but again, what's the real use of it? Oh, so the last thing is Hemsworth says that he thinks the interest of Thor might be waning among fans, but I don't think so. I freaking love Thor. Like, Thor is good, and I feel like especially what we've got with Thor 3, that shows the potential of him to be so, like, he can be so good, you know? I think it's, again, the writing. Him as Thor, he is Thor. You know what I mean? Just like freaking Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, Chris Evans is Cap. Like, those three guys are like, those are the freaking comic book to life. Those are it. And Thor and Chris Hemsworth are 1 and 1. Like, you can't get one without the other. So I don't think that's true at all.
Yeah, I think his popularity has grown since the Thor movies.
Exponentially. I didn't even know who he was before Thor.
Yeah, I think with the Avenger 1 and 2, I think he kept growing and then taken to another level with 3 and 4.
Yeah, especially with 3. Yeah, became so much more likable in 3 because he was funny and silly. Yeah, and it was fun.
I think he's wrong here. I think he's misreading it. I think he's one of the more popular superheroes that remain in the MCU.
One of. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The last piece of news is recently reported that Taika has left Thor 5 and the MCU altogether, that he is no longer, I guess, going to be a part of the franchise moving forward. Interesting considering how he talked about it and how he he seemed like he was willing to do another one. I wondered if it was performance or if it was enough for Feige to just kind of look at the film overall and just not want to continue that relationship. But I'm glad that they're shifting gears, and now you're opening Thor up to another director, another writer, and you know, I think Yost has to be a part of it because he's been there from the beginning. But where do you, like, again, it adds to, like, where do you take Thor from here? Like, all the little additions that Taika pushed for, you know, is any of that going to be dissolved in the future or downplayed?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, just like everybody else, huh?
Yeah.
And we are the Phronesis Project. Thanks for watching.
This could be a career ender in a good way. This could be something that... the idea of it makes me very nervous, and I know that when I've felt like that in the past, it's been a good thing creatively.